Hey everyone, it's Patty here, and I want to thank you for joining me. I wanted to show you how to make this card today. I use the accented blooms, and this works really well with the tailored punch. So you can stamp these and then punch it out with this, and I have it layered here with some dimensions to pop it up a little bit. I colored these with watercolor pencils, and then I use my blender pens to just make them look a little bit nicer. When you do the pencils, you get the lines in there, and then you use the blender pens. You get 3 of them in a pack, and you can just make it look like you watercolored it, really. I'm also going to show you how I did the purple, because I didn't have a purple color pen or pencil with the watercolor pencils. So I used an ink pad. So I'll show you how I did that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. This is really pretty. I thought about putting ribbon or sequins or something like that, but I just thought it was just pretty simple. And the inside I have this big ways, small ways, love you always. So you have thank you, hello, and then a couple of these and some flowers. So this one I'm going to do hello. This one was the thank you, and I'm going to do always thinking of you. So let's get started. Let me put this over to the side and get my pieces out. So this is what I used for my sentiment, and then I have, this is 3 3/4 by 5, and then this is the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. The black is 4 by 5 1/4, and then this is a half a piece of old olive cardstock, just cut in half. So it's 8 1/2 scored at 4 1/4, and then it's 5 1/2 this way. I seem to be really doing a black layer on a lot of my cards lately, and I don't know, it just is my thing right now. It may change. So this will just layer up nicely. And I think the black just pops the outline and then the thank you. So let's get our stamping done. I think the first thing I'm going to do actually is stamp this and let it dry a little bit. It's a very, I'm using the Memento ink for this one. And it's a very solid stamp. It's the red rubber, but it's really solid. So I just want to make sure I get it and it dries really well. So I'm just going to press it down. I'm going to kind of hold it down to let the ink really adhere to the paper there. And that looks great. I'm just going to put it aside and I'll punch it later. While we have this out, I'm going to do the sentiment, which is the, what does it say? Always thinking of you. So let me just put that in there. And then I'm going to switch my ink pads, and I'll tell you why in a second. There we go. So the Memento is good for the alcohol inks. So if you're using Copic or the Stampin' Blends, the alcohol, you could use the Memento. But when you're doing watercoloring, you need to use the StazOn. So I did my sentiments. I liked the Memento for the big filled in. I don't know if maybe this needs more ink, but it seemed like it's stamped better with the big solid stamp on the Memento. But the StazOn I'm going to use for these little flowers that I did on the inside, and then I'll color them. So all I did was take this little flower piece and put one on either side of my sentiment. See, it's not as dark, but I think it's very pretty. So let's put this one aside, and then we can stamp the outside. I'm going to put this aside, and we're going to ink up this big stamp with the StazOn. So I just have to maybe re-ink this a little bit more. It is a little lighter, but I didn't want to blend in watercolor with the blenders with the Memento ink, because it might blend the black right into the colors. So you just have to be careful you're using the right ink for whatever you're stamping, or coloring I should say. It's more of the coloring thing. So we're just going to put this right down here. I'm just going to press it down. Okay, so see, it's a little bit light. I'm going to flip it and see if I can get this darker. I really think I just need to re-ink this. If it doesn't get darker, I think I'm okay with it. Let me just get these here a little bit more. That's always nice. You have two sides of every piece of cardstock, so you can really have two shots at it. So I'm just lining this up on my grid paper so it's even. And I'll put this down. I'm really going to press on this. That looks better. That's actually a good stamp here. So let's put this away. And then I'm going to do my coloring. So what I did was I took my watercolor pencils, and I'll probably speed this up. I'll show you bits and pieces of it, but all I did, this is the Daffodil Delight, and I just kind of colored this in. You know, just stay in the lines, but you don't have to, just color it right through. And the darker you want it, you know, the harder you press, the darker it will be. And sometimes you can do a light and a dark of the same color, and you get the two different looks. So I'm just going to color this all in. And then you use the blender pen. So again, you get 3 of them. There's 2 ends on each, and you just want to make sure there's no color in it. And that's how you clean it. So I'm just going to color this in, color this in. And then I'm just going to get the yellow off, so now I can use the next color. I'll do the leaves in Old Olive. And then I'm going to speed this up and just show you how I did the purple. So I'll do the purple next, and then I'll speed it up so you don't have to see all my time-consuming coloring here. Get that little piece there. Sometimes you get confused as to what's a leaf, what's a flower, what's the background. And I think it doesn't really matter sometimes, to be honest. See, there's some little thing in there. Get these leaves. And it's okay if there's a little bit of white space in there, because when you blend it, you get rid of the lines, you fill in the white. It really kind of gives it a nice blended watercolor look. So that should be good. And we'll just kind of color this in. Blend it all together. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it really just gives it a nice smooth look. I'll just do this line here. Oop, I missed that line, but I picked up, it still had some green on it, so it picked it up for me. And we'll just do these leaves. Okay, now I'm just going to clean that off. And now I do not have the purple, and I thought these kind of looked like violets to me. So I'm going to use an ink pad instead. And let me just pull this over here, and I'll do this one as well at the same time. So with your ink pads, if you squeeze them, you get like a little palette of ink on the top. And you can just pull this out of the top and just color. And when you run out of ink, you just pick up some more color. If you want to make it darker, you pick up more color. So you just kind of go through and color it this way. I love the African violets, and I don't know if that's what these are, but that's what I think of when I see it. Just keep going around, and I'm going to make the center of this yellow, and I'm also going to do the inside of the card with the same purple color. So this is one of the new colors. It is, I want to make sure I have the right name, Highland Heather. There's the Gorgeous Grape as well, but I thought that might be too dark. I kind of wanted a light look for this. So you can always add color and reblend if you want. So I'm going to just do these, and I have to do the leaves on these as well. And then I'm going to speed it up for you so you don't have to see me color. One thing I wanted to mention is that let's see. I'll tell you the colors that I used. But let me finish this and then I'll tell you the colors, and then I'll speed her up so you're not watching me color for an hour here. So let me get this one done. And I think I'll just do the yellow on the insides. I just colored that. I didn't even blend it because it's so tiny. I don't think it matters. You could do a marker. You could just do your regular markers on these as well. So let's close this up. So I did the Daffodil Delight on the flowers, on these flowers, and then the Old Olive. These flowers, they have Real Red in the middle, and then I have Bermuda Bay. Then on this one here, I have, what is this one? Pumpkin Pie, and I did the outside light and then the inside dark, same color. Let's see, what else? So this one, I used almost all the colors. This one is Melon Mambo and then Rich Razzleberry, and the Rich Razzleberry I did very light. So I think that covers everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep coloring, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to just speed it up when I go ahead and edit this. All right, so just bear. Okay, so I am back again. I hope that was not too long for you. So I did all my coloring. I've done the stamping, and what I'm going to do is just put this in and punch it out. I love this punch. I'm so glad when they come out with new stamp sets that fit an existing punch. So there you go. And I put that together with dimensionals. Just pop it right on here. Let me actually put the card together first. So I'm going to take my basic black and just put some snail on it. And layer that in the Old Olive card paste. And I try to get the corners kind of lined up here. So it's... I didn't do a very good job of that. Well, I'm going to leave it. I think that's good enough. And then we'll put this layer on, and there's my mistake. I think we all have mistakes, right? But that's okay, because you can hide them up. And look at this, it's not the right size. So I am going to stop this and be right back. Okay, I'm back. I know what I did. I used the wrong one for the inside. So this one, it's a little bit off-centered. I really wanted this over on the side, but I'm going with it. See, this is the one that should have been here. So I just stamped the wrong one, but that's okay. Again, we all make mistakes, and it is just fine. We can always recover somehow. So all I did was cut that down. So that was my inside layer, which would be 4 by 5 1/4, and it should have been 3 3/4 by 5. So, oops. So that's okay. This one has a little bit bigger border because this should have been on the outside. Hope that makes sense to you guys. So I'm going with it. And let's just put, I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on this just to pop it up a little bit, because we love our dimensionals. Just take the backs off of these lay it down, and we're all done. And again, you could put some pearls or sequins or something, but I just think it's pretty as it is. I like the softness of the flowers, and then the pop of black. So there you have it. See, this one is more in the corner than this one, but we're okay. So thank you. Big ways, small ways, love you always. Or hello, always thinking of you. So these are the cards. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll be back soon. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. You take care. Bye.